think we are live. Just checking everything. Looks good. We are live. Welcome and good morning to another edition of Jedi Academy. I'm Ranger J 1999, your host, part of the RSG crew. Joining me as always is Dr. Finn, Medicine Woman. Dr. Finn, how goes it with you this morning?
Good morning. I had my breakfast Twinkie and I'm good to go.
That's an awful thing to say first thing in the morning. I had a breakfast Twinkie.
And it's just a regular Twinkie I ate at breakfast. I haven't started to use my Twinkie maker yet and actually make it. Make a breakfast Twinkie, but that's coming up. A bacon, egg, and cheese Twinkie is on its way soon.
Don't ever eat that in front of me. I will hurt you.
By the way, the zoom window is reversed.
Is it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, give me a second. We're trying to do something a little different here, so bear with us, folks, so I can... let's see, if I go here and order, no, I want to transform.
You don't have to transform. Grab the box on the right side and then just drag it to the left side and it'll flip it.
Last time we did that, it didn't do anything.
Oh, thank you, Ray. No, you grabbed the corner last time. That's why you have to grab the side. Oh, Ray Rock. Yes, Ray Rock had Twinkies on my behalf. It was awesome. It was awesome. And so I was really glad. So I hope you enjoyed said Twinkie.
Okay, there we go.
The Twinkie is delicious.
Okay.
I don't know how the rest of you feel. Warrior, how do you feel about a Twinkie in the morning and just in general?
Well, it's a very complex question. So let's think about it. A creamy, delicious center of basically what's stylized as cream-filled donut. People eat donuts in the morning. Donuts are normal because of that. So Twinkies are basically more delicious donuts. So I think you're in the clear here.
No, I think that's wrong.
Hooray!
I think you're both horrible people. Let's see here. We also have Jedi Master Dasher with us. And she's muted.
She's on mute.
Oh, sorry. I mean, you're talking about Twinkies, so...
It's okay, I understand.
Doesn't it just make you sick
morning.
hearing that, Jedi? Because I know you're a healthy person. You would not eat a Twinkie first thing in the morning for breakfast, would you?
You are correct.
Thank you. See, there are reasonable people on the panel today. But if you guys are new, welcome to the Jedi Academy, the Q&A show for Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. And we are not only streaming this on YouTube, we are streaming this live on Facebook right now.
We're supposed to be. I'm checking right now to make sure it's all working.
I'm seeing it right now.
Okay. Yeah, I see it. We're live.
Today.
Hooray!
But if you guys are no, stop, Facebook. What are you doing? No, Facebook. The Q&A show for Star Wars. No!
I'm checking it right now. Let me echo the entire screen.
Yeah, that's great. Stupid ass Facebook. Every time you don't have something set with your sound, the computer just let's just have sound. You're like, no, I don't want sound. Stupid ass Facebook. But the way the show works is this is Q&A show, all about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. So if you have questions pertaining to Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the way it works is you just pop in the chat. I'm not sure how Facebook works. I'm sure it works the same. Finn will figure that out. But if you have a question related to Star Wars Galaxy Heroes for our panelists, all you need to do is pop in your question. Make sure you put question in front of your statement. We will scoop those up and we will get those read. So make sure you put question in front of it because we use Nightbot and it helps us get the questions. So help us to help you, help us help you. So if you have questions, go ahead and fire them in there. Glad to see everybody here on this Saturday morning. Hope everyone's got their coffee, got something to eat that's not a Twinkie, something healthy. But we are glad to see everybody here in the channel. So yeah, the Straight Q&A show. Make sure you give us a thumbs up on the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel, not just for us, but for all these wonderful people that are here answering your questions about Star Wars Galaxy Heroes, and follow them wherever they may be. Watch their videos. It all matters. So, that being said, been kind of another slow week in Galaxy of Heroes. Not much going on. Okay, I lied. There's a lot going on. We'll start with you, Warrior. What's on your radar this week that you want to talk about?
Honestly, I don't have much on the radar. They're slowing things down for a little bit. I think this month is kind of the a recuperate month for everybody, for them and for us. We're to kind of take what we've got, and in the last 6 months, there's been like 7 new legendary or heroes journeys, which is insanity because it took them 3 years to do 7, and then in 6 months they did a whole nother 7. So it's like 14 legendary hero journey characters, and these events are now coming back, crazily. I mean, there's 14, and they rotate them every 3 months, and so you're talking about 3 or 4 legendary and hero journeys every single month. And for people who are not at in game, it's really, really busy already. I think people sometimes, if they take a step back, they realize, wow, okay, I've done all that, but a lot of people haven't. There's a lot of people that have quit, and a lot of people that are coming in that are new. Speaking of people that have quit, that's probably the only thing that's happened this week. Very sadly, we've lost some of our best theory crafters for Team Instinct just due to retirement, people tired of the game, done with the game, that kind of thing. So that makes me kind of sad. We've lost 3 theory crafters in the last month, and they're all super amazing guys that really brought significant value to our team. But, real life gets in the way sometimes, and then sometimes people just get burned out. One of the biggest issues we're having is Territory Wars was and always was originally intended and designed to be the ultimate PvP team versus team, and so we cared about that a lot, and so everybody focused highly on PvP and characters. It was like the ultimate arena, but for teams. And there was lots of theory crafting and all of that went down with it. And then they created Grand Arena, which was basically supposed to be Territory Wars, but for the individual versus for the team. Well, I don't know why, but Capital Games, in their infinite wisdom, decided that Territory Wars no longer matters. It's just a silly place to have silly fun, and that Grand Arena is now the only serious place to do serious battle, and that team stuff doesn't matter. And so Territory Wars has become this almost mockery of PvP, where they give crazy, stupid, insane bonuses, and you can try to theory craft your way around it, but ultimately it creates a massive RNG fest. And when you're competitive, that's not okay. And it wasn't the original design or intent originally. So, it's turned into, half of the people in Team Instinct didn't even like Grand Arena to begin with. And then they add this new mode. So they're like, whatever, we'll ignore that. We'll do Territory Wars. And then they do Territory Wars, and they find out that now, it's going to change. And now we have more of these special bonus Territory Wars than what we call vanilla Territory Wars. So now we have to do these weird RNG fests, 2 out of the 3 battles, a month. And for a lot of us who take that kind of, it's a game, we're supposed to have fun, but we do take the PvP side seriously. It's really hard to take something seriously when they've done that. So I know for other people, they would disagree and they'll say they like it, and that's great. Good for you. That's my opinion. So that specifically has caused a couple people to quit because they're not fans of the weird non-vanilla Territory Wars, and it takes too much time when you're high-end and competitive to try to theory craft around that. So it's a shame. We've lost some really, really good players. And apparently, I've talked to a number of other YouTubers. Apparently, we're not the only one. Other guilds are losing people by the droves. These are high spenders, Krakens that have spent 50 to 100,000 that are quitting. So that sucks because those are the people that keep the game open. So I hope that they maybe dial back some of this and maybe think about doing surveys and seeing what the community thinks about some of the changes and stuff, and maybe get some feedback so that way they can kind of get a pulse on the community versus just kind of doing things and then losing people, maybe surveys. I don't know. So anyway, that's that. I've been pretty busy personally, so I haven't had a ton brewing, but on my Scissorman account, I've had some fun. I'm finding Grand Arena interesting. If there are no ships, I do pretty well. And if there are ships, I'm screwed because I have focused on ships and other people don't. And so when there's ships involved, I have like 4 gear 11 and then like 5 gear 9 in 10. and I go against people that have 15 Zetas and 15 Gear 12 characters. So it's a physical impossibility to win when I have ships involved. So that's a kind of bummer, because I was really hoping to stream all those, but it's a moot point to stream 4 battles that I'm 100% going to lose. So yeah, I wish they would weight the ships. If there's only 1 battle for ships, it's out of 5 or 6. Let's say there's 1 out of 6. It should only be 1/6 of the. It should be 1/6 count towards your GP total. If you're going to do that, if they're only going to put 1 ship node, then it should be the same percentage of nodes for battles. It should be the same percentage of GP counting against you. It shouldn't be that I have to have all my ship GP count against me if I'm only going to use a percentage of my ships, versus I'm going to have to use all of my arena or all of my characters and all my character GP. So anyway, everything could be improved on, of course. So they're doing their best, I'm sure. But yeah, Grand Arena Territory Wars, and I heard there's some other cool stuff happening in the community, so I'll stop talking now.
Oh, I'm sure we'll get to it. What's on your radar there, Jedi Master Adastra? Or should I say Lady of the Sith Adastra?
Hey, still Jedi Master, thank you very much.
I feel your anger.
And having, Galactic Republic, come on. But yeah, I don't know. Territory Wars, we're prepping for yet another insane matchup. I like tough matchups, but they really need to do something with these algorithms. And, we've been facing guilds that have like 30 mil on us. And,
did you win?
But, huh?
Did you win?
No.
Oh.
What do you mean? We're against the best guild this time. We're going against Team Instinct Gold, so it should be a good match. But no, I enjoy Territory Wars no matter what, though. I know, unfortunately, some people are getting burnt out on it, and it is just so sad. Like, guilds have been breaking up, or they're trying to do merges to save certain guilds, and it's just, I don't know. I'm really hoping they do something for this. I know the bonuses were there to try to shake it up a little, because when you get to these certain tiers, it's just the same thing over and over. Everyone I'm talking about the higher end where I'm at, we all have the same OP squads. We all have, the difference just comes down to modding and then the efficiency. So they needed something to just break that up a bit. And these bonuses were an attempt at that. However, it's obviously a hit and a miss across the board. So I'm hoping what they'll do is introduce the more zones again. When they did that 35 zones, but they did that for, but the lower end guilds too had to increase their zone amount. So I'm wondering if they could do that again, but scale it correctly for GP per the guild. So then that way it would still add an extra element without having to do these bonuses to rely on changing it up. Because they need to do something, as they keep giving us more and more OP characters. You can't even, certain squads are just never used anymore. Like, it'd be nice to use your whole roster once upon a time. I know, again, Grand Arena, I guess, is the whole reason that they introduced that. Like, here, you can use whatever you want in Grand Arena. You're by yourself, so you can do whatever you want, because you don't have a whole guild with you to strategize, and you're relying on anyone. It's just you, which I do love. Grand Arena I am very PvP oriented, so anything on that level I'm all for. Like, when they did 3v3, I thought that was awesome, because that was a nice change of pace. It shook it up. You had to really change your thought process, because what works in 5v5 does not work in 3v3. So I welcomed that difference. So I don't know. I'm hoping they can just do something new, but I don't know, honestly, if they will or what that would be. Like, I don't know. I feel like they need just like some new content to get people back in. I mean, I know there's that TV coming up, so I'm hoping that'll breathe some new life for guilds and people in general. But I don't know. Sometimes, like, what can they do?
We'll see. Also joining us, we've seen him, we know him, we love him. Stoner Jedi is here. Xylo Takedown.
Hey, good morning, everybody. What's going on?
Where's my apprentice?
He's up having his breakfast and walking the dogs.
It better not be Twinkies.
Oh, no. Always either pancakes or waffles for breakfast with some fruit.
That's right. That's what dark side users eat. What's on your mind, Xylo, as we're collecting questions? Make sure you guys get your questions in, and make sure you put question in for your statement. We'll start getting questions here soon, so get them in now, or they're hot off the presses. What's on your mind, Xylo?
I mean, it's been a crazy 2 weeks for sure. I mean, the Padme event was really difficult and at the same time interesting, right? Like it didn't feel like so much of a paywall event, right? If you were a hyper focused character player and you focused around like territory wars or raids, fleets, all these little things, you kind of had a couple of the pieces ready to go to at least get you a 5-star unlock, maybe even a 6. So I thought the event was really interesting. The all hands on deck, the territory war bonus, the original Han Solo out of the 5 that could shoot first and stun was bugged originally, so glad to see that they got that fixed. The unstable batteries too. I really liked the unstable batteries because I actually was working on the Separatist droids and have a few other droids already put together. So now that I had that team up and running, I got to kind of play with the unstable batteries a little bit. When we were struggling against one of those Malak walls earlier, we were facing a TW. I threw in this General Grievous team with a couple of the droids and then BB-8, and it was a prime Darth Revan team again, mind you, 7-star Malak, Gear 12 Malak, and the team just as soon as the Darth Revan team went, Droidica died like instantly, but then the rest of the team just started taking off. Like Grievous got like 4 bonus turns, started dropping a bunch of target locks, the burning started chipping away the few that died. So I really like the unstable battery. It's going to be sad when that's gone. And it was a pretty good week, man.
I hated that. Just on the total opposite. No, Jesus.
I put the video up too, dude. 1 minute of a prime Darth Revan team. It was awesome.
I know, but it was so ridiculously. You had no idea what was going to happen that I hated. It was so. I thought it was bad.
Oh yeah, huge coin flip thing. I mean, like the all hands on deck.
Hey, I make offense, a move. I died. What do you mean?
you kind of control the all hands on deck. Like for example, like say you saw Thrawn on defense or something like that. You can start off the match and shoot first and stun a Thrawn, or you know what I mean? Like there's some ways you can manipulate that and take advantage of it on offense and defense. And then at the batteries, I totally agree. They're definitely a coin flip, but seeing something like that and being able to experience something like that just made it all the difference.
Well, you had a good experience. I had awful experience, and I hate that damn ability. All right, BB, here's the plan. We're going to go in here. And you're dead. Why are you dead, BB-8? Okay, my whole JTR team is screwed.
Yeah.
Why did you die, BB-8? Stupid BB-8.
That's another thing too.
Really RNG heavy. Like that. I liked it was a different type of bonus, but good lord, so much RNG involved.
Yeah. Oh yeah. If Grievous would have died, the whole team would have fell apart. So I mean, like again, it's a coin flip, and if they would have focused on the right pieces, then the AI would have played it a little smarter, then probably would have won. But the fact that the team was primed in general and got to come back and get out in front of it was just amazing.
All right. With that being said, we are going to let me get set up here. All right. Finn's been collecting questions. Finn, let's start doing this. We'll start with Warrior. What's the first question for Warrior there, Dr. Finn?
All right. Question from Hellenix. What are your thoughts on the Grand Arena mod exploit as highlighted in Darth Microtransactions video?
Well, I didn't know that was a thing until a bunch of people were chatty Cathying it up in my Discord. So I went and watched Darth Microtransaction. By the way, that guy's a really funny dude. He's just like real, like he freaks out and stuff, and he's like genuine. It's not. I don't know. I think it's hilarious. I think he's a cool. I actually enjoyed watching him. He was refreshing because he was just himself. So that was cool. So I got to know about a new YouTuber. Apparently he's been out for a while.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah, he was fun. So I watched it, and apparently you can do this. But then, you go to Reddit, and everybody on Reddit's like, "Oh, we've known about this for like a year. So this is a problem that's been going on." I'm like, "Oh, so other people have been using it now for a year, and Capital Games is yet to fix it? Like, what the WTF? You know what I mean? Like, what the heck?" So, it was the first I'd actually heard about it. I'm, to be completely frank, completely way too lazy to ever exploit that, because I would have to literally create for 80 characters. I'd have to create templates for them, and then I'd have to create a template for 5 that are my best mods. And best mods are relative. Super high defense is great on L3. That's not necessarily a template I want to go with anybody else. You know what I mean? So it just, to me, doesn't make sense. But I guess for like people who are lower, like, if they apparently want to spend a lot of time moving mods around and spending thousands of credits, I suppose that would be a thing. But for me, it was just like, okay, I have too many like mod goals I have to try and hit to try and even sort of move stuff around. But I see it as an exploit because it's done not the way the game is intended. They've already very clearly said this is not the way the game is intended. It's not designed to do that. It's supposed to lock and stay locked. So for anyone that used it, shame on them for knowing something's not right and doing it anyway. But yeah, I didn't know about it, but I find it funny. You go on Reddit, and people on Reddit who are using it and abusing it are like, every YouTuber knows about it and uses it. They're in the biggest guilds and they're not making videos on it because they're trying to abuse it themselves. It's like, or you're just an idiot and you're projecting the fact that you cheat onto everyone else because you're a cheater and you want to push it on everybody else because you're a cheater. So it's funny. Reddit's a weird community. Some really awesome people mixed in with some real toxic cancer. So,
yeah, I mean, anybody that thinks that can go watch every video of Grand Arena. I've had it on YouTube. Show me where I did that. It was eye opening. I had heard something about it, but I didn't know of the extent because, again, I don't do that crap. And so when I saw it, I was like, really? Jesus. All right, Dr. Finn, Minister Woman, do you have a question for Lady of the Sith, Adastra?
Yes. So question for Adastra from General Gravis. I'm trying to run Padme in Arena and having mixed results. What is the key to constantly beating Jedi Knight Revan teams?
All right. Well, there's kind of 2 main things, I guess you could say. If you have her unique Zeta, it makes it like infinitely easier. And then your lineup, I mean, I'm assuming you have the main team at least, Padme, Kenobi, Ahsoka, Anakin, and you have a lot of choices for that 5th slot. And like Grandmaster Yoda works there, you can get that protection up because of his buff spread. Unfortunately, he loses a lot of his PM, so it's not always the most ideal choice. And then you could have, but against Jedi Knight Revan teams, you could have them there. You can use Zaris. You can use.
So he said really quick, Adastra, he said that his entire team is maxed mostly, and I use Yoda.
All right. The max include all the Zetas too, then, you think?
I will let you know as soon as he responds in the chat.
Okay. I mean, that's awesome, though. Max teams. I mean, you got the characters at least. But yeah, the Zeta's there, so that makes it obviously easier. But you don't have to have all the Zetas to win against.
He said yes, though.
Oh, wow. Okay, then you got it. You got it easy, man. So you could put in Zaris as your 5th, and you'll smoke them. Like it's very hard to actually lose when you have your maxed out team, and then Zaris there. It's pretty pretty reliable, honestly, because that'll help. Because they will most likely get that first movement on you unless you have some ridiculous speed or you're going against a really slow Jedi Knight Revan. That's where Zaris will help to protect, from that. So whoever they mark first will have a better chance to survive. Because I've tried it with other fifths there, and like sometimes they would kill my Anakin as the first one, and that is really hard when your Anakin is killed off. It's hard to recover from that because he's like your other main damage dealer, and of course that too, modding will come into play. You want to make sure you have Anakin and Ahsoka modded for good damage because those are your damage dealers. Ahsoka, since you have the Zeta, she'll get to go more often. So she is very key for that team also. But yeah, try it with different fifths there and see how that does. Like I said, try Zaris there. You have Grandmaster Yoda, you have C-3PO, you have R2, the Galactic Republic. You got a lot of options. It's kind of neat.
I'll give you a little additional thing he put in there, which is that 9 out of 10 battles, Ahsoka gets marked and dies shortly afterwards.
Oh, then yeah. Yeah, she is a little squishier if you don't have some extra health on her. Like I believe I have a health set on my Ahsoka just to help make her a little bit healthier. But again, Zaris would help with that too, to nullify any crits that they would do to help with that survival. And then you could get her health up because she'll get the assists. So, and she has health steal. So she is actually it's very easy for her to recover if she can get those hits in and get the health back. And then you can also summon her with any of your other characters as an extra. So you can do things to really ensure whoever gets marked first, you can do your best to try to get their health back up. So when the mark goes away, the buff immunity, that's what I meant, goes away, then you can get the protection up on them again. And just, but yeah, I think, trying to think if there's something else important, but I think I covered most of it.
I think you got it. All right, next to Stoner Jedi and my apprentice. Question.
All right. Xylo, question from WhatElse73 says, why is it that when I press auto in battle, the AI that fights for me is so much dumber than the AI that fights for the opponents?
Jesus.
Well, that's why it's called auto intelligent, right? Like, I'm a big fan of the auto button. If you see me play or anything like that, I utilize the auto button a lot. But the AI just isn't smart. Like it prioritizing. Like, all right, go push auto when you play ships. Watch how many times the Millennium Falcon does an AOE or outmaneuver, right? Or what else is a good one? I'm trying to think of some funnier scenarios, but in general, you're gonna play it better than the AI can. And if you're gonna leave it up to an auto button, make sure you set yourself up for the auto win.
All right. Next question, back up top to Warrior.
All right. Question from Billy Gun Warrior. His question is it better to prioritize speed or health when Malak hits 7-star? Currently, I have 3 health sets at 89,000 protection and 225 speed.
So I don't have a 7-star Malak yet, so I guess I can't try it both ways yet and tell you which one I like better. But this is the deal. Malak is extremely difficult to kill. And he already converts all his protection to health, and it's super easy to put protection primaries on him and get him 80,000. He has the highest protection pool in the game. So it's just like easy to get him instantaneously, like 140,000 health and protection combined, which converts to 140,000 health, without trying to focus on that. So I'm not really sure you need more, especially in an arena battle. And I can tell you, I've gone against 7-star Malaks that had 170 speed secondary on it, and it was don't ever want to do that ever again, unless I want to break phones in half with my hands. So for me personally, when I get a 7-star Malak, it's going to be all about speed. I want to hit that 300 plus threshold. because he's a butthead when he's fast. If he's slow, he just kind of sits there and he's easy to like focus on last. He's kind of like, a lot of other characters where you can kind of ignore him until the end and then deal with him. And if he's fast, that's just not true. He just starts sucking the life out of everybody and killing everyone, and that's a problem. So I would say speed over health and protection, because you can do speed and protection both pretty easily.
All right. Next question back to Jedi Master Dasher.
Okay. Question for you from Danilo Papayas. It says, question, with my new account that's level 55, I'm currently trying to unlock Emperor Palpatine with Phoenix. In which order do I gear and use their ability mats?
Oh man, a blast from the past there. Oh, geez. I'd have to honestly re-look at the team to properly answer that one.
Okay. Do you want to take a second to look at the Phoenix, and then we can give Xylo a question and come back?
Sure.
Okay. We'll let Jedi Master Dastra look at the Phoenix.
She's doing research.
We are all fairly rusty on our Phoenix, just offhand.
I have my Phoenix like gear 12, so I got a lot of good use out of them in the early days, and I still don't really get to use them. I split them up now, but they are really good for new accounts still, honestly.
Yeah. I think we a lot of us have just worked on them and left them there for so long, it's hard to remember what exactly we did. All right. So, Xylo.
What was the question? I could take it and give her my question if you want.
Yeah, there we go. Yes.
Having a newer account.
Yeah, we got Scissorman Warrior here.
So, Warrior, the question from Danilo Papayas, he says, with my new account, level 55, I'm currently trying to unlock Emperor Palpatine with Phoenix. In which order do I prioritize gear and ability mats?
So gear, you equally gear them all up at the same time. Gear 5 to all of them, gear 6 to all of them, gear 7 to all of them. It's really pointless to have a gear 10 character and then like a bunch of gear 5 characters. The one character is not going to be able to carry the entire thing. Plus, it's really, really hard at level 55. You haven't developed enough gear reserves to really get someone to gear 9 or 10 yet, more than likely, unless you're spending money, which I doubted because it's your alt and you probably spend on your main. So for me, you're probably like around that gear 5 to gear 7 range. You want to kind of make it even distribution because they all regenerate that protection and stuff with all of them present. And you're going to be limited as far as ability mats because you can't do the Omegas because you're only level 55. You can't get up to the level 78 and level 82 requirements for the Omega mat to be placed. So you're going to be doing the Mark IIIs. And, there are some specific abilities you'll notice when you're looking at abilities that help. Any ability where it says, plus, like for example, Zeb has that ability where he can regenerate protection, and he'll have like a Mark III ability where you could pay an extra 4 Mark IIIs to get an extra 5% protection regen. Do that because that one is going to benefit the whole team because they share those uniques kind of thing. So really, Hera's leadership as high as you can get it, and uniques on everybody as high as you can get them because they share all of that. And then any of their basics because they use their basics a lot. So uniques first, basics second, and then Hera's leader is an absolute must.
All right, so let's.
Perfect. Yeah, I was gonna say the uniques. I remember that was the most important factor. Like if you were short on your ability mats, the uniques do that first above all else. I remember Ezra carried my team, so I don't think that's probably the best way to do it. But I remember I had my Ezra the highest level of the group, and he helped to carry them, but it was still difficult. So you can go at it at a more pragmatic rate of what Warrior said. Do an equal leveling across the board instead.
Make them equal. All right, let's give Jedi Master Dash another question.
All right, well, let's double up her questions. We'll do a double round this time.
Oh,
so
double round. All right, prepare yourself, Jedi.
All right.
Rapid fire.
Yes. So, Adastra, your first question is from Paparazzi, and you were talking about this earlier. She wants to know, how do you feel about 3v3 territory war?
Oh, I'm betting I'm in the minority of this, but I am excited for it.
How dare
I
you,
love 3v3 Grand Arena.
Unleash your anger.
So, I like theory crafting stuff. I love trying different combinations, and so... But from a strategy standpoint, it's gonna be a pain in the butt to manage it. Like coming up with the defense plan, like it's gonna be crazy, and then trying to manage, the offense and like here's our go-to counters. There isn't really quote quote a go-to counter. It's just it's gonna be tough, but like I said, it's gonna be like a welcome difference than everything. I do hate that it overtook a vanilla though. I mean, this is technically a bonus, even though there's no bonus effects. It's still not a normal TW. So I was kind of disappointed in that. They should have that equal distribution of vanillas versus these different types. But again, I'm actually really thrilled at it because it's gonna be different. It's gonna be tough. I'm curious if the squads will change in the zones. Like I feel like they should increase it to balance that. So that's gonna be interesting how they handle it. But again, I keep track in my 3v3 ground arenas. I keep track of what works and what doesn't work. And like in my guild, we have a whole channel dedicated to Grand Arena. So we got some pretty cool stuff. So it'll be really fun to see how it works on a bigger scale. Because obviously 1 versus 1 is vastly different than 50 versus 50. So obviously, the most annoying one is going to be the Darth Revan Malak comps. Like, that is going to be a pain in the butt, if both guilds set all their Darth Malaks and Darth Revan Malaks. Like, good God, it's going to be a very messy war. But again, I like these differences to just. I knew it was only a matter of time too. As soon as they did 3v3 Grand Arena, I'm like, oh my god, what if they ever do that for Territory Wars?
Thanks, Adastra.
So you're the one that put the thought in their head. All right.
Good job.
Hey, I knew because they were kind of bridging it back and forth there. So
we know what happened, Adastra. Don't play. You're like, you're having coffee with CG, and you're like, hey, this 3v3. Be interesting territory.
I'm wondering
wars.
if they'll ever go the opposite direction now, like increase it, like 7 or 8 or something.
Why now? Now you really are implanting ideas. Bad at Austria. Bad at Austria.
I mean, come on, they decreased it. It's all natural to increase, or are they gonna keep decreasing? You have
just one,
or 1v1.
Yeah. So we already know that with 25 with 5v5s, right? There's probably going to be like 41 or something on defense. So you're gonna have to put with 3v3. Then we're just gonna shift to 1, and there's just gonna be 80 per zone. You just put in a single character.
80. That. Yeah, how many will be in the zone if they'll just do a direct doubling, or like because it's like 25 right now. I wonder if they'll just double it to 50 or to just make it simple. I don't know, but yeah, it's gonna be a unique experience. That's for sure.
All right, and now your second question is from Doja-sun. And his question is, what is the preferable split of Jedi and Galactic Republic tunes for Territory Wars and Grand Arena to field 3 teams, one with the Bastila lead, one with the Revan team, and one with the Padme lead?
Was it still for 3v3? Because you could do way more than 3 teams.
I'm assuming it's 5v5.
Let's just stick with 3 Jedi Master Dash. We have other questions,
we're all
okay?
talking about 3v3.
Just 3 teams.
He didn't specify, but I'm pretty sure this is.
Oh my God, Finn! Let's limit the scope of this because she'll talk
we'll
about
talk
Jedi
about
for
5.
an hour.
Well, 5s it would be more limited because I doubt this person has every single Jedi like I do.
You don't know him.
I mean, very few. I feel like very few people have. Yeah.
He did specify 5v5.
Okay, cool. All right, so between Jedi and Galactic Republic, yeah, with specifically Padme lead, Revan lead, Bastila lead. Is
Correct.
that what it was? Okay, so you actually do have a few options there. Padme lead, you want to keep the core together ideally. So you want to do the GK, Ahsoka, Anakin. That's obviously going to be the strongest 4 with that team. And then you can pretty much throw anyone as your 5th. And this can be for defense or offense. Defense, again, that core team is the most important though, the core 4, because of all the awesome synergies, especially if you have any of their Zetas too. But then for that 5th spot, you basically whatever you don't end up using on your other Jedi teams. So you take those 4 set aside pretty much, and then go back to, okay, what other Jedi do I have now to do my Revan and my Basilisk? So then, I guess we can assume defensively you're just going a crazy defense, or because it's different when you do defense versus offense. So this is, oh man. But with Revan, so you need another damage dealer. So you have the option of having Yoda there or Ezra there. So like choose one of them to go with Revan, and then the other one will go with Bastila. So then you have your 2 and your 2. And then with Bastila, say you're doing it defensively, you want tanks there. You can either have 1 tank or 2 tank. So say you have Kanan and Obi-Wan, there's your 2 tanks. But if you don't have, this spread, just do 1 tank. And you can even take advantage of the tank tag itself. Like certain characters like Jedi Knight Guardian have a tank tag, but they don't actually taunt. But they'll still do that job of having the auto taunt, so the opponent will still have to get around that. So that's like a cheap way of getting around if you don't have the tanks to field between all these teams. And then you have Zaris, who can go on any of these teams, honestly, as a filler. Like, she can go great with the Galactic Republic, of course, and then she can go with Basilisk for that extra annoyance of, because Basilisk generates so much the protection and the health, and Zaris would help add to that, or Revan, of course. And then let's see, Jolie. Jolie, again, he can go on either of those teams also, of Revan or Basilisk. Revan is great for the extra annoyance because you already get that freebie revive, and then Jolie adds that another threat of revive. So I do like usually keeping him with Revan for that reason. I usually do the double tank with Basilisk. Anyways, let's see, I think. And then your other fillers, you would have Qui-Gon and Ayla, because again, you have your Anakin, Ahsoka spoken for to go with Padme. So you kind of would need these extra other fillers. Ayla is really high up there. I love putting Ayla with Basilisk Shan because she helps to counteract certain teams that are used to take down Basilisk. Because Ayla's stun can help shut down certain counters, and then Basilisk has their ability block and stun as well. So I like doubling that up for the all right, so hypothetically, you could do the Basilisk, Ayla, 2 tanks or 1 tank with Barriss or not. And then you have Jedi Knight Revan, Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda. It's a good core 3 for that. And then
don't forget Jolie.
And Jolie, yeah. So you'd have, I thought I said that, sorry. Yeah, Revan, Jolie, Grandmaster Yoda, Hermit Yoda. And then again, you have the options of flipping around. So I hope that gives you some ideas. I know I kind of.
No, that's good. That's really good. That's really good.
I could.
I know for the next hour
I could just PM you.
Yeah, she's got diagrams and pictures and a whole video series.
I could look at your page actually, and then I could give you a direct recommendation.
And for $49.99, Finn, you can get all 5 CDs of the Jedi Master Dasher Jedi series. And if you call now, we'll throw in Hermit Yoda underrated for free. Finn, you can't beat this with anything.
I get asked these questions a lot. I just need to upload a video, I think. Yeah. Like top teams when splitting up your Jedi, now splitting up Galactic Republic. You can use this and this for defense, this and this for offense. There we go.
There you go. All right, next question to Zylo. Take that.
All right, Zylo, here come your double questions. So your first question is from Pat Barazzi, and she says, I have a Gear 8 7-star Padme with 1 Zeta, the 40% protection one. What are some good 5v5 and 3v3 Grand Arena teams I can use for her, considering that I don't have Ahsoka geared or any of the Galactic Republic Zetas?
Yeah, and it sounds like Padme definitely needs a little bit more love. And she needs some survivability around her too as well. So 3v3, I would definitely say like Padme lead with GK and Anakin. Those are your three right there. I like that better for offense too, especially against this Padme's only gear 8. She's really squishy right now. So you can kind of utilize her more as an offensive team. Same goes for 5v5. A lot of people were mentioning earlier, Barris is a great piece in that team. Grandmaster Yoda kind of speeds the team up a little bit more. You can make him a lot faster. So, I mean, for 5v5, if you don't have Ahsoka right now, Grandmaster Yoda makes sense. And, Barris does make sense with that team too as well. Barris and Kenobi kind of have this like merry synergy already. But in 3v3, it's not enough of a damage output team. So you're going to have to utilize Barris and Grandmaster Yoda elsewhere, of course. But there's plenty of Jedi that you can use to stretch and make 2 or 3 teams in 3v3 with that. And yeah, just keep gearing Padme right now and focus down Ahsoka as well.
All right, next question.
So then your next question is from Danilo Papayas, and he says, since I did not get Padme this time, should I farm droids for the next time, and if so, which ones?
Well, I do like the Separatist droids, and I'm kind of biased on those. And it's a great team too. The only one who kind of falls through the crack is the B1 battle droid, but he's also like the healer and the engine to the team. So yeah, he doesn't benefit you through the event, but he benefits the team overall as a general. So I mean, I would say just go for the droids right now. Me personally, I had all the Separatist droids at 5 stars for the event, and I literally just threw them in there and pushed auto. And on top of that, I mean, just to mention too, I mean, the droids can be a great offensive or defensive Grand Arena team. So if you make that investment now, it's definitely going to be a good one for you. And I think you could get them there in time to get them up to 7 stars. If you're like, say, for example, farming Karth or Emphas Nest or Scion out of the fleet nodes, don't worry about B1 right now. You can let him fall through the cracks and kind of come back to him if that's the case. I mean, a lot of those 3 characters alone prioritize before B1 Battle Droid, in my opinion, because they have the cause and effect through the game. And you can always come back to B1 again. There's going to be a lot more fleet energy characters and better places you can spend your resources. If you don't need B1 for the event, you can easily throw in Asajj, Dooku, Sunfac, a lot of different pieces for that event that you probably already geared and invested in, and then just work on the other 4 droids.
Outstanding. And just a reminder, we are on Facebook. People are like in shock. Like Facebook. So we are there. I see Ouchie Dumpling is like, oh, cool, Facebook. So yes, we are on Facebook. If you want to watch us on Facebook, we are live on Facebook. All right, back to the questions. We go back to the man with the plan up top, chilling like a villain, Warrior.
All right. So Warrior, question from Pak Barazzi. She asks, how do I use a Gear 8 range trooper in 3v3?
Very carefully. So, defensively, they get the decisions of how they're going to pick that apart. So defensively, it's not probably going to help you much. Offensively, you get the choice of what you attack. So you get to decide on, is this guy going to die before he gets a turn, or is he going to get a chance to open up? See, range is amazing, even in Gear 8, as long as he survives their initial salvo of attacks. So my suggestion is, if you have an auto taunter that happens to be an Imperial trooper, I don't know, maybe Shore, since that's what he does, that would be phenomenal as a tank. Range trooper as kind of the damage dealer, and then bring in another damage dealer leader. You can either bring in a kind of Stark for the kind of the speed boost jumps, or Veers. We said 3v3, so that you can't have all. I prefer Veers lead, Stark, and range. Those 3 together, because it's ridiculously durable. The only problem is if you've got a Gear 8 range and they have some characters that take off first and kill him, then you're just down to 2 guys who are super squishy left over. And range kind of brings that durability with all the additional protection regeneration and retribution. And see, that retribution is key because they do a ton of damage, and so even if they take damage, at least they're killing while they're being killed. So that retribution is super important. So range really needs to survive that initial salvo. So if you've only got him gear 8, unfortunately, you're going to probably need like an auto taunter, or you could bring in any tank, I suppose, at that level. But really, the auto taunt's the best. Or you're just going to have to target teams that you know you're going to beat off the line, and to do that, get Stark really fast, which is not difficult actually. Stark is pretty easy to get pretty fast, and then you could run Veers, Stark, and range, which is my preferred choice.
All right, next question to Jedi Master Adastra.
All right, question to Adastra from Albin Rubens. And his question is, this new information Darth microtransaction brought our way is pretty crazy, knowing CG hasn't corrected course on that issue for so long. Don't you think the pressure to use that cheat becomes legitimized with more time that it's not resolved?
Well, I mean, I don't know how many people actually knew the nuances of it. Like, I didn't know the specifics of it. I knew there was something wrong with mods in general, like in Territory Wars and Grand Arena. We had people in the guild that would report, hey, my mods didn't lock, I sent in this team and this went wrong. Because a lot of people naturally use their squad loadouts and this and that without knowing how that cheat worked. So it's annoying in the sense that they never coded this correctly. That's what I hate. Like, this shouldn't have even been a thing to begin with. Like, the fact that it's very annoying. Like, I hate it. And then I'm glad that the video did bring it to light for people. Like, I guess because it has been a known thing. It's just, again, the specifics of how it worked, I never knew how it worked until that video said it. So the downside is a lot more people now are going to probably be doing this than what the small percentage that already were. So I don't know if CG can really crack down on that or not to prevent this kind of ridiculous cheating. It'd be nice if they could fix it finally, because there have been complaints about mods not locking in. People have been sending in complaints about that for a while, and they're like, yeah, they supposedly were going to fix it. So I'll believe it when it's actually in place and seen that they finally do fix this, because it's just such a big part of the game. Mods are a huge part of the game in all these PvP modes, and so it's but again, I mean, I guess it still takes that dedication for someone to cheat in removing mods and costing them the credits. But the fact that it's possible is just, it's mind-boggling. Like, how could something like this slip through? How could they not have programmed it in a way to prevent this stuff? Like, I just don't get it on that.
Quick input, though. He said the question was, because they've left it alone for so long, is it ethical now to basically, it's their fault, and it's basically ethical now to go ahead and go in and use it because it's their fault, so shame on them. Let's say Walmart knows people steal from them. They do try to stop it, but it's overwhelming how many people steal from them. Does that mean that since they can't stop all the thieves, that you should go become a thief and steal from Walmart? That's your answer. If you say yes, then you're a terrible person and you should cheat in the game too. And if you say no, then you shouldn't cheat in the game because you're an ethical stand-up human being.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I guess I missed that. I hate that this whole thing is even a thing. But yeah, I am against cheating in any way. I just hate that it's possible. And yeah, I mean, people, I guess if someone's like really frustrated now and they're like, oh, this guy has way better mods than me, but oh, there's that cheat now, I can overcome this. And it's just, I mean, I know it's just a game, but it's still just so annoying, and
it's our game.
It shouldn't be done.
Yeah. I mean,
well,
Go ahead, Silo. No, go ahead, Silo.
Well, so Micro's video, right? Everybody's been giving him a lot of heat for that stuff. I mean,
they should not be. That pisses me off more than anything.
Oh yeah, and those are the cheaters, and those are the people on Reddit, and blah blah blah. And okay, so in my opinion, everyone's like, oh well, he's showing us how to cheat and da da da. He's not showing you how to cheat. He's showing you the nuances of it, yes, and how it works, yes, but he has to show it and replicate it for them to stop it. You know what I mean? Like if he's not giving them some sort of evidence or some sort of content on what it's doing and how the process takes effect, how are they going to stop it? I mean, we're already up in air and like what's going to happen, or like everybody's been saying there's nothing we can do. Yeah,
because of that, it's a double-edged sword.
Definitely,
because a lot of people didn't know about it until that video.
And now it's even more out in
but
the
at
open.
the same time, CG hasn't been doing anything to fix it. So that video, I think, kind of helped reiterate, hey, this is still a problem, and oh, hey, this is how you can exactly do it now. Now everyone can do it. So hopefully that kind of stepped it up for CG to really think about how to fix this stuff, because it's just so ridiculous.
I know. It's been going on for this long is ridiculous. And CG's response was just, it was bad. It was so bad. It was a bad response. It really was. Oh, for God's sakes. All right, let's move on. Wait, who got the last question? I forgot.
We're down to Xylo.
That question to me.
Yes.
Yes. So Xylo, question from What Else 73: Is Padme viable with the Galactic Republic team at 5-star with gear 8 or 9?
I mean, gear 9 is probably like the bottom of the barrel. I mean, gear 8, she's super squishy. I have her sitting there right now, and I want to make the investment in her right now, but it's not my priority at the moment. And besides that, she's valuable, but again, you want survivability. So most people already are going to have General Kenobi and possibly Anakin at gear 12, but Ahsoka is kind of fallen through the cracks as a character, right? Like, I mean, unless you utilized her for her ship or for a filler character because she had synergy with Anakin before and you really like the Jedi, I just think that most people don't have Padme and Ahsoka invested in right now. So definitely utilizing her with GK and Anakin is your best bet right there. And using her as the lead, even though she doesn't have the Zeta, is still huge, just even comparing to General Kenobi's lead too. So there's some easier ways you can utilize it at least.
All right. Next question
for Warrior. Yep. Paparazzi. Question for Warrior. Why is high defense really good on L3?
Well, high defense is good on any tank, but more specifically tanks that tend to have a natural high defense anyway, and tanks that have an ability to kind of regenerate. And so because, it's kind of like why people love defense on their Jolie, because it reduces the amount of damage done, and you got to do a ton of damage to kill Jolie. And so that's that. Well, with L3, the issue is she can basically do that taunt bomb thing almost every single turn, depending on circumstances. But if you have the setup right, she can use that almost every single time, and that regenerates 50% health and protection on the entire team. Like, and so you've got to do insane amounts of damage to get rid of her. And when you have such a high defense, it mitigates 50%. That's a lot. If it's 50% defense, that's a huge mitigation of damage that you're trying to do, which just makes it very difficult to chew through her and get rid of her in time. Then you add to that another tank, which most people like to double up on tanks with her. And now all of a sudden, you've got Zalbar, who's regenerating health protection. He's taunting when anyone goes under health. You got L3 taunting and healing everybody. And then you're trying to kill L3, and then Zalbar taunts, and you try and kill Zalbar, and L3 taunts. And it's like this terrible game of patty cake that you can't get out of. And it's absolutely horrific. So you want to make characters like that. There's key ones. Zalbar is one. Sith Trooper is one. L3 is one. They happen to be three very, very tanky tanks. And then you add to that at least 50% defense, potentially 55 to 60% defense, with a healthy amount of health and protection. And my goodness, it makes them very, very, very difficult to kill without your top 3 teams. We're talking top 3 or 4 teams is like Darth Revan, Traya, Triumvirate, CLS. You know what I mean? Like those are like the top 4 PvP teams. And you would have to have one of those basically to beat through that. It's very difficult to not beat through that. And you can't use cheese like Night Sisters because they heal so much, the plague falls off and it's pointless. So yeah, it's very, very difficult to beat those teams. If you've never fought against them, you're blessed. Call yourself blessed.
So here's a follow-up on that, Warrior, from Paparazzi. She wants to know, for L3, should she use defense primaries over protection primaries sent on her? Or on any?
I personally would not. What I would do is I would do 3 defense sets, and then I would, if you can get those up to 6E, great. But if not, leave them as that, because you already have a defense primary that defaults. We have an offense primary and a defense primary that are always there. So you're always going to get a boost to defense. And then if you do 3 defense sets, you get 3 defensive bonuses. That's technically now 4 defense boosts. And once you have it geared up, she naturally gets a bunch of armor from the gear that she has, and that will be enhanced by the set that you put on her. So then you can focus on the protection primaries on the right side. I would probably put a speed arrow and then protection for the other 3. And then, of course, you'll have an offense and defense. You can look on SWGOH.gg, / Foster Cop is my actual GG. I think not a lot of people know that, but it's actually Foster Cop. And you can see how I've modded my L3. She's modded about as optimally as you can. I mean, I've got people that have better modding than me, but mine is exactly how you should mod it. It's just maybe isn't as amazing as some people's, but it's modded correctly. So go check it out and you can see how she's modded. But defense for her, for sure. There's not a lot of characters that benefit from a high defense. And most, about half of the tanks, you honestly wouldn't want to go that route either, because there's tanks that need speed. There are some tanks that benefit from, health because of their health regen. There's a lot of different reasons and stuff. But those 3 tanks specifically I talked about, Zalbar, L3, and Sith Trooper, they are all about that defense, baby. And the higher you can get it, the better. But protection for PvP, protection is a massive shell of protection that keeps your character from dying. And the whole point is they're going to try and chew through that to kill your character. And so you want that shell big as well. So if defense is there and the protection is there, it makes it a really hard nut to crack.
All right. Next question to Lady Adastra. The dark side.
All right. So question from Isoaka. That's supposed to be Ahsoka, I assume. Taco Fulcum. The question is, how do I beat a faster Darth Revan team?
In general?
I'm assuming arena, but yeah, kind of in general.
Pray, sacrifices to RNG, hope.
Well, I mean, if we're talking, Darth Revan versus Darth Revan, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I think it was
I'm assuming it's me.
Oh, sorry. So yeah, usually if you could have like your Sith Trooper there, so their Darth Revan wouldn't be able to wouldn't be able to get out your whole team. So that's usually a go-to. That's what I do, because my Revan is definitely not the fastest on my shard. So when I'm doing those mirror matches, I put in Sith Trooper in there, and that gives me a better chance to survive. But also another one is the Basilisk Shaw Fallen. If you can get your Basilisk faster than theirs, that helps immensely in making it easier. Even if their Revan goes first, if you can get your Basilisk first, that helps. So a lot of people have been slowly shifting to that mindset of speeding up their Basilisk. So in your arena, you can kind of see how you compare. I don't know what your mod situation is versus others, but if you can speed up your Basilisk against the other teams in your arena, that'll help you a lot. That's kind of the main thing. Unfortunately, this team is just so brutal that if they all go before you, it's very hard to recover from that. But it is kind of neat. Another comp that has been circulating now. I believe there's some videos about it. I'm sorry, I can't recall who it was originally, but Grandmaster Yoda was a 5th. People have been putting him there to help with that speed deficit. So you could try that. Again, if anyone knows the video name or person can link that, and that could help. Because I believe that was for everyone was slower than the enemy Darth Revan.
It's
So
for a bulldog.
yeah, thank you. So that's kind of the main points there. Unfortunately, it's just there's so much RNG with this. It's so powerful. You can win with Jedi Knight Revan because it's easier. I mean, not easier, but I mean the speed. For the speed part, it's easier to get your speed faster because of the bonuses to the Jedi Revan lead. So if you have solid Jedi and Jedi Knight Anakin, you can overtake these Darth Revan teams. Like I actually prefer using my Jedi to defeat, and then I'll place Darth Revan on defense because that holds better than Jedi Revan, of course. But
And just 2 cents on that. If you're doing mirror matches, and that's what he had suggested he was doing was a mirror match, don't use any of your specials. Just absorb all of that trash that they do to you. Hope the RNG doesn't kill something, and then when you get a chance after that opening salvo, take your turn, go basics, and then on round 2, then use all of your specials. I've won that way with a slower both, and I sometimes win after 1 or 2 battles, even with both slower. Basilishan slower and Revan slower, and sometimes, like yesterday, I was in 8th place. I only had to do 2 battles to get to 1st. I did 15 battles, and I lost 13 of my 15 battles because the 2 people I had to beat had a faster Darth Revan and had a faster Basilishan. But I'm determined, and so I spent 50 crystals to refresh another 5 battles, and another 50 crystals to refresh another 5 battles. It's not fun. In fact, this is worse than Revan teams, because at least with Revan, they took 5 minutes, but I knew I was going to win. Whereas this is an RNG fest, and I don't know if I'm going to win or not. So I've won as soon as 1 time, and I've won as soon as it took 8 battles. So, when you're slower, you're slower, and unfortunately, everyone is faster than me who's in, like, the top 10. So I just have to accept that and know that it's going to suck ass. So that's just the way it is.
Did you try with the Grandmaster Yoda as the 5th? Did you ever try that one?
No, there's a lot of people using that on my leaderboard because there's other people who are like me who are sucking it on mods. But I kill those teams lightning fast, even with their tenacity up. It's like I prefer people put that in for me. Yeah, I prefer that. It helps me climb, actually, when they do that.
Yeah.
Well, I meant for you to try that offensively, if that will make it easier for you, because you said it took you.
No, because I'm a bullheaded bull, and I just want to wreck this China shop, and the only way to do that is to figure out how, with slower characters, to win. And so I have figured out that if you let them just trash your team's pretty durable, surprisingly, and there's a lot of regenerative properties with the Darth Revan team, and protection comes back and health comes back. And then after a couple of turns, you can go and do your salvo against them, and surprisingly, by that time, your Fallen has started to inflict Fallen battle meditation on them, and they're starting to fail on their application of their debuffs. And then as long as you're focused in targeting the right characters, such as killing HK, get rid of that bastard for one shot and all your fools. If you can get rid of him, and get rid of Basilishan Fallen, you got a good chance of winning even with slower characters. But it's not pretty. It's disgustingly ugly. If you win, you're happy because it's 1 versus 1 at the end of it.
All right.
Yeah, because you have to pray you survive all their opening stuff too. Yeah.
All right. Next question for Stoner Jedi.
All right. Next question from JLY9. With Kira being used a lot with Nest to maximize banners in Grand Arena and Territory Wars, what do you do with L3, Vandor, Chewie, Young Han, and Young Lando without Kira?
Where do you use them, you said?
Yeah, and he's starting with the premise that Kira's being used a lot with Nest.
Well, utilizing your other scoundrel leaders for one, the original Lando, right? Like speed and crit damage, that helps a lot. And then young Han Solo, you can use young Han Solo under a General Kenobi and Barris team and as a 3rd, and he'll just ramp his damage up and start one-shotting pieces. So, I mean, like Vandor, I would definitely recommend using him on defense with L3. And then sometimes what I like to do is put Stormtrooper Han in as the leader. He's going to taunt and gain turn meter. L3 is going to taunt and gain turn meter. And then they're going to have a very hard time getting to Vandor at all. right? So I mean, there's some different ways you can split the team up a little more. And then again, like you said, if you're using Kira with Nest as an offensive team, totally fine with that. I do it myself all the time too with a Gear 10 Kira. You know what I mean? She like is there just to be the leader and give Nest those bonuses. And yeah, so I mean, it's a good way to stretch out that whole faction. And young Lando, he's another good offensive presence too. So if you're going to use him for his stealth mechanic, if anything.
All right. Back up top to our man running with Scissor Man Warrior.
Okay. Question from Acheron. What is the ideal way to split up your bounty hunters for 2 3v3 teams?
So personally, I like to have Bosk on defense because it's durable and it requires meta to beat. There's very few people that have mods so good that they can take in B teams and win. I mean, it's possible. I've seen people, take in Ewoks against Bosk and win because their Ewoks are just insane. But most people don't have A mods on their Ewoks or A mods on their this or their that. They use, B mods for a lot of those, and their A teams have the A mods. So most people have to use a meta team to beat that, and they know that. They're going to use probably like JTR with 2 droids, that kind of thing as a counter, and so that sucks out that really good counter. So it's almost like necessary evil for necessary evil. But Bosk lead, and then I like to use Dengar. He goes stealth. He prevents stealthing on the other side. So defensively, they can't stealth and like make you hit a specific character. So if they use JTR, R2D2's wasted because he's not going to be able to put anyone stealth anyway, and so they're just going to target R2 and kill him potentially if things go south for them. Dengar stays stealth. He does AoE damage. It helps with getting everybody to pay out faster. And then the third could be for a defensive team can be one of 2. I mean, you can do a lot, but the 2 that I like the most is either Boba Fett because he gets you to your payout really fast with that double tap and the AoE and all of that. And once he gets his payout, it's just sick. That team's really, really, really difficult to beat. And Boba's always a threat. He's always a threat because he can just one-shot characters if he's modded correctly. But I personally like to keep Boba for offense because he's really, really good at targeting who he wants, and he can kill someone and they don't come back to life. So with him, I've got a lot of offensive purpose. So I actually put in Embo, and if you ever wanted a really valuable Zeta, Embo's can't be critically hit Zeta is devastating underneath Boba because Boba lead, there's so much regenerative properties with it, and then on top of that, Embo can regenerate his own protection, and then of course it can't be critically hit. So you're talking about someone that you can get up to 100,000 health and protection on that regenerates it nonstop, and he is a good damage dealer, and he dispels on basic. A lot of people forget that, and so he keeps them honest. He keeps the offensive team honest. He's constantly stripping them of their buffs they're trying to create to kill that team. So I personally prefer Embo and Dengar on offense. On defense, there's 2 teams you can use. A thermal team. I like to use them with thermals like Greedo and stuff like that, because the thermal det team is a B team, but it can take out. There are certain teams that you can use with that. That's a kind of a secondary team, like if you're starting to run out and need a cleanup team, things like that. The primary offensive team I use is actually a Jango lead for the speed, Boba Fett underneath him, and then Cad Bane. I like Cad Bane, or you could take an IG-88. Both are squishy, and they have different purposes. Depends on whether you need an ability block and an AoE specialist or a stun specialist. So if you need the stun for control, I would take in Cad. If you need the AoE because someone's hiding, like let's say Night Sisters under stealth, then you might want to take in IG-88 for that ability block and AoE. And then with them, 3 versus 3, they can target 2 of the 3 characters can target whoever they want. And if the person dies on their turn, they die they never come back. So they're perfect going against Night Sisters because you can target a Night Sister all willy-nilly how you want, no matter who's taunting or whatever. And then once you kill her, just make sure it's, either Boba Fett's execute or it's just Jango Fett, period. Because Jango Fett's anything. If they die, they don't come back, period. So Jango's even better than Boba. And once they die, they get their bounty hunters resolve, full protection back, like the works. And so
that's if you have a Zeta, though, by the way.
Yeah, but definitely if you're going to run Jango as the leader, you'd want his leadership Zeta. in that. But optimally, yes, you would have him.
Oh, I'm talking about the
leadership.
Sorry.
Oh, you're talking about Boba Fett's protection regeneration?
Yeah.
Yeah, Boba Fett would require his Zeta for that protection regen because he doesn't have it naturally. Like
the Django unique Zeta, because you're saying any move he makes will kill them permanently, but you need the unique Zeta to do that.
Yes. Yes, and with the regeneration of protection, like I mentioned, Boba Fett obviously would need his Zeta as well to get that protection regeneration, or he won't get his protection back. But that team is great, and I use that as a team to pick off Night Sisters. There's almost inevitably always a Night Sister team on 3 versus 3, so for me that's just a go-to. And if there is no Night Sister team, I love this Bounty Hunter team for a tank-heavy team. A team that doesn't have a lot of offense. They have like one character that's going to jack you up and then 2 tanks that are invincible. It's great. So what? Go for the damage dealer because you can ignore taunt, kill that leader like Kira or whoever, and then once that person's dead, then the tanks are just hit full auto. Like your guys are going to, load them up with debuffs and eventually smash them with some massive damage with rockets and stuff. So it's a really good team for purposes of ignoring taunts or getting around, those taunt heavy teams or killing Night Sisters and making sure they're not reviving.
All right. Let's see here. Next question to Lady Adestra.
Okay. I apologize if I butchered the name. Question from Kirioda Mutsu. And the question is, when gearing characters, what would you consider the amount of crystals saved to help buy gear when you're gearing a team up to gear 11?
Sorry, can you, I have to get going pretty soon. So can you repeat that?
Yeah, I'll repeat it. Kirioda Mutsu. And the question is, when gearing characters, what would you consider the amount of crystals saved to help buy gear when you are gearing a team to gear 11?
So you're trying to save up the crystals for it? Like, I'm trying to understand the...
If I'm understanding the question, she wants to know how much she should spend in crystals on a team if she's trying to gear them up to gear 11 quickly.
Oh, but to still have some crystals saved, though, it sounded like.
I guess that's
good. You don't want to go broke.
Yes, you might want to make sure that you specify that then.
So I'm kind of thinking of it as like, say hopefully you're doing well in arenas. If you can get those top rankings in both the arenas, that's your main crystal income. And you can kind of do a budget friendly, like it's going to be user to user, right? If this is assuming you don't spend, like if you're purely free to play, you got to get those top ranks so you have more crystals to mess around with and make sure you don't go broke, of course. So one cool thing, the gear is more accessible these days. You have all these different stores. So it'll kind of depend on what gear you're farming, because sometimes it's better just to buy, say, like the shard store. I love buying gear there, and that saves you crystals. And then like your refreshes, again, if you're solely focused on one team, for gear wise, you gotta be careful. Like farming, it seems like it's endless if you're farming. So you kind of got to think about that too. Like, is there a character that you're farming? How many refreshes are you doing? Like, if you really need, kind of wish there was more information here. Like, what team are you working on, for instance? Like, how important is this team to get it maxed out? Because if say it's like your Darth Revan team or a Jedi Knight Revan, then obviously that would take priority because it's the meta. It can take on everything.
Night Sisters.
Hey, that's another awesome team. Actually, that's one of my favorite teams because they can take on a lot of stuff too. But again, so sorry, sidetrack there with the crystal. Oh geez, with the crystal stuff, right? So again, gear. You don't need to buy a bunch of gear with crystals. Honestly, it's usually not worth it, unfortunately. Like a stun gun or stun cups, like it's so outrageous. And you can use the guild store, the shard store, these different spots, to buy that gear. So again, this is dependent on if you can get those top rankings. So, like, I would allocate, you could, it's just, it's hard to say if top rankings, because you could just use your winnings, for instance. So, say you can get like rank 1, 2, 3 in each arena respectively, then that's like 500 in squad arena if you get rank 1. Like 500 alone, that's a lot to use with for your refreshes, for the energy if you're farming the certain gear, right? Because again, in shipments, only a few gear pieces are actually worth it. Like later on, like the eyeball pieces, usually it's worth it to buy those. Because the drop rate is so horrible. And I think there's actually a chart somewhere that someone came up with like the drop rate and cost ratio of buying gear in shipments versus farming it.
Oh, that is. Yeah. There. Let me see if I can find it. I believe that's by the Shattered Order podcast guys. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah, because I know that's helped a lot of people with the budgeting. Because again, it's unfortunate, there's that RNG factor, of course, when you're farming with the energy. Sometimes you can get really lucky and you'll get a bunch of pieces per your energy spent. Other times you'll just get a big fat 0. So again, it's based on your arena winnings of how much you can actually do, and you're just focusing on this one team at a time. So again, and use your profits for arenas, and that'll keep you up there. Like you don't ever want to get down to 0 crystals, obviously. So if you can get top 5 in squad arena, you can get top 5 in fleet arena. That's anywhere from like 400, 600, 700 crystals that you can get a day. And that really adds up to use then for the farming. And that sheet that Finn will provide will help you to really understand the cost difference of purchasing and shipments versus just farming on the energy with using that refresh. Because, 50 crystal refresh to get a chance for the gear versus, the 300 plus 1,400 to buy one piece of gear. It's pretty ugly when you think about it sometimes. But
All right.
and again, the shops really make use of that. The shard shop, the guild store has a lot more. Like I do like that they've added a lot more stuff in there now. And there's the Get store, but I wouldn't recommend buying in there because it's just so valuable with what's coming up. You should be hoarding that currency if you're not working on Malak. You should be hoarding that one. I don't know. Anyone else want to add in on this? If you,
I think you covered it well.
Okay.
Good job. Next question for Stoner Jedi.
All right. Question from Rayrock. Has anyone tested Padme with clones since she can boost the clone survivability?
No, I haven't. I'm still focusing down Malak and then rounding up some other gear pieces on some other characters I wanted to work on. Like a couple months before, Malak and Darth Revan and all that, I was working on, bounty hunters and some rounding up some other pieces, doing some extra Zetas I wanted to do. And then I had to hyper focus, the KOTOR characters and round them up for the Malak event. And that, was a lot of the resource drain right there that we were saving. So then I've been focusing down on the droids and then going to Malak. So now it's just, Padme is going to be up and coming for me. But I can recommend somebody. It's just Ian is going to get her up to gear 12 here, I believe, on Monday. And he's been working on all of the Galactic Republic characters, and he might have something going for clones. If not, I mean, I have gear 11 clones. Rex is gear 12. And I do have a Zeta Cody too, but I mean, it's not really gonna kind of help unless he gets a rework, right? It's maybe if he gets a rework, I can do some testing with Padme because by then she'll be definitely gear 12. But I think everything that we have right now, unless we get more reworks for these Galactic Republic characters, you're not going to see anything more than what we already have because it's a very synergistic, heavy team, right? Like you need all Galactic Republic characters. You can't just throw Jedi Knight Revan in there, or Hermit
I'm sure
Yoda
you could. He's
or
Jedi
anything
Knight
like
Revan.
that.
You can throw him in anything.
I think that would be interesting though to see something like I'm a big fan of Hermit Yoda. You guys know that. I was one of the first people to give him both his Zetas. I was running the Slingshot Akbar team, and I was a big fan of him early on. So maybe Hermit Yoda is a fifth instead of Grandmaster Yoda or Zeta Barris. I would be really curious to see that, just to see it. But I mean, it would kind of again defeat the purpose of the Galactic Republic synergy, and take away all of the extra bonuses they get, and it's just. We'll have to wait and see what happens with these Galactic Republic reworks. I'm really curious to see this Mace Windu rework, and I'm hoping that we get a couple of extra ones like Kit Fisto and Eth Koth, Luminara. They're all really day one kits and day one statistics. I have a Gear 11 of Luminara, and she's lackluster. You know what I mean? You can't use her anywhere. It's you just want to utilize these extra characters and make even more use of the Jedi faction itself than you can right now.
Warrior or Dastra, have you guys had a chance to experiment with Padme with clones at all?
Nope, not at all.
Yes, very, very lightly. I had 5s in there, and for the counter, and then again the beefiness because he's so tanky already, and then he has the assist. And
do you have a Zeta too?
Oh no, I almost did. I'm glad I never did.
Some people do. So I mean, he's a great ship and a great tank, but I mean, it's very niche.
Yeah, that's where he can plug in. That's what I like about it. People. The Galactic Republic is a pretty big faction, so I know someone else was trying with the with Rex on the team, but I didn't think that was really as good. And Rex lead is so good in general that's where 5s or Clone Sergeant, they're kind of unused a lot, so they could be fun fillers if you had them up because of their ships. You might have them a high gear level and they just never get used anymore. And but yeah, it's very limited, unfortunately. I mean, I want to do way more testing, but it's hard to test.
Just do your damn test and get back with us with your data. That's all I gotta say to you, Jedi.
But again, that's another thing too. Is the clones have such day one statistics and kits too as well, right? I mean,
I'm not even gonna
and you don't
bother.
want to pull
They need
Rex away from
reworks.
another team.
Yeah, it just no. Oh god, they're
But don't forget they beefed up the legs of the clones. Okay,
well,
let's go ahead and get.
Yeah, I'm hoping reworks. We're gonna get reworks, right?
I'm so ready for the Bad Batch too. I really, if they don't bring the Bad Batch,
we're not getting the Bad Batch.
I'm still hoping we get the Wolfpack clones and a clone.
The Wolfpack. You guys are too hopeful. No, it's not
at least
happening.
Gregor or something. A filler, and then the Bad Batch. So then you got 10 clones. You know what I mean? That'd be awesome.
All right. I think next question is for Mr. Warrior.
Yeah.
And question from What Else 73 says, my opponent in the current Grand Arena has Darth Revan and Malak. Any strategic advice for what I can do on defense to prepare for that?
What's up, What Else? 73. Honestly, this is one of those things where I'd love to be the go-to on this, but everyone I go against, they one-shot my Darth Revan Malak team. So it's like, oh, that's cool. I'm glad everybody knows how to instantaneously, easily beat it. That's great. But for me, I have to take in multiple teams. I've done a couple of different theories. One theory is you go in with a trash team, and you let them expend all their specials. They kill your team off pretty quick, actually. And then you go in with a Jedi Knight Revan, Bastila, and Yoda. Mark her, Darth Bastila, kill her off, and then kill Revan. But the Darth Revan, that is, and then Malak last. And I've done that successfully, but I've also used where I went in and I just used Jedi Knight Revan right off the bat and killed Bastila, Fallen, Darth Revan, and then lost to Malak because it was a little bit harder. And then you got to take in a cleanup team for him, and so you kind of almost use 2 meta teams to take out 1 meta team. So the taking trash in. The problem is finding the right trash that's going to survive long enough to let them use all their specials, but not survive past that. And with my I've got everybody gear 12 with mods and full abilities maxed out, everybody. So it's difficult for me to try and find that right balance to get it to where they use everything. And I have yet to be able to one-shot any Darth Revan Malak team, and everybody seems to put that on defense that I face. Side note, the hardest teams that I've ever had to face are people that just don't care about Grand Arena at my level, that have, a 5.5 plus mil GP, because every single top character is on defense. Not half, all, because they don't care. So it auto assigns their literal top, 30 characters or whatever to defense for those teams. And man, I tell you what, nothing like fighting a Darth Revan, Malak, Revan team. And you're like, well, that's not synergistic. That's going to be stupid. And then all of a sudden you get worked bad in 3v3 because it's just 3 overpowered leaders doing their own thing, all kicking your butt. And I just had to go in the last Grand Arena, and it was like that. It was like, I had one team that was 9 Zetas. Everyone had 3 Zetas on. It was CLS, CLS, Revan, and Dark Side Revan. And you're like, what? This is going to be easy. It's not. I promise you, it is not easy to beat 3 overpowered characters like that at all. Super nightmare. I hated it. And it's happened a couple of times where I have to defeat literally these weirdest comps that you've ever seen, of just 3 super overpowered characters jammed in together. And they're very, 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 very difficult to beat with half of the same characters to beat those characters. It's interesting for sure.
Yeah, another one on that note, the double Bastila. That can be kind of brutal sometimes, because usually in the power rating, Bastilas are next to each other, so they will often get placed together in the auto assign. And oh my god, those sometimes can be brutal. Like, say like a Trey lead with double Bastila, or just anything with the double Bastila, or even the Bastila lead, and then you have the fallen Bastila and then someone else. Like, that's surprising.
Oh yeah, I had to fight one of those in the last one. Had both Bastilas.
Yeah, so I mean, some of these auto assigns, because again, I will see people post them in the guild. I'm like, shoot, one of these times, if I'm against an opponent where it's like I'm either they're outmatched against me, or it's just a fun one, I want to set some of these teams on purpose just to see how they do.
All right.
So let me ask you guys something, because I get PMs from people, and they'll send me videos and stuff of them beating different teams and whatnot. And I think, Warrior, you brought up something interesting that someone had messaged me. So I'm wondering what you guys all think about it. So the person before Grand Arena normally has his best mods on his Darth Revan team and Malak, and his second best on Jedi Knight Revan. But because Darth Revan is so overpowered, before Grand Arena, he switches his mods so that his fastest mods are on his Jedi Knight Revan, and he puts the second fastest on Darth Revan and puts it on defense. And then when you go into Grand Arena, now his Jedi Knight Revan is really fast, and it makes it easier on him to deal with Darth Revan and Malak teams. So what do you think of something like that as a strategy to use before Grand Arena and kind of going in there, forgetting about all the...
I think it sounds great. I would never do it because it requires a bunch of remodding, and like I said, I am too lazy to do remodding. My characters are going to get modded as best I can, and then that's what they are. And for anybody who has more time on their life to be able to do that, then good for you, and use it. It sounds like a sound strategy, but for me, it's I play the video game at work, for guys. For goodness sake. I mean, this is the only time in my life I have any time, and then when I'm busy at work, I can't even play the game. So for me right now in my season of my life, it's just modding is not even on the spectrum of possibilities, other than the necessary evil modding I have to do sometime, from time to time, a couple times a month, to try and tweak a character here or there.
All right.
Yeah, that's an effective strategy for someone limited on mods too. I always make sure my Jedi is well modded regardless.
We know you love Jedi. Get over it. Get a room.
So, I mean, that's good for if you're limited on mods too, and you're wanting to have your best chance to win. Because, yeah, on defense, the Revan, Malak, they don't even have to have amazing mods. And it can be annoying, especially if the other opponent sets it too. Because there's very limited counters of what's going to work. So that is a very viable strategy to ensure you have this for offense to take on Darth Malak Revan. Because yes, Jedi Revan has a chance to one-shot it, but it's not guaranteed. So you kind of need that contingency of what else will you have available offensively to clear that Darth Revan team. Because that's usually what these grand arenas are coming down to now, is who can take down the Darth Revan team.
Pretty much.
So if you can have a strategy implemented that will really improve your chances, go for it.
Absolutely. All right, next question there, Dr. Finn. Getting down to that time. I need to change, so
Yep.
I'll be right back.
So next question is for Miss Jedi Master Adastra. We're not making you late for work, by the way, right? I know you said you were getting ready.
I was gonna say, yeah, this is the last question.
Okay, there we go. Okay, so Bones Jones 159 says, where do you think this game is going in the next couple months? Some people are speculating Malak capital ship is coming. What are your thoughts?
Oh my god, I've been saying capital ship, capital ship. I am honestly surprised we haven't gotten a new capital ship yet. Like, I really thought with Grievous we were going to get his capital ship. Like, they could have totally just snuck it in there and just threw everything at us. And now, where we're at in this point, there is a lot of different capital ships they could introduce now. Like, and then with the upcoming TV, and then the reworks to Newt, for instance. Like, what if we get a capital ship for Newt, of all people?
It'll get nerfed.
So we are long overdue for a capital ship. They've got to have something lined up for us. We desperately need a shakeup in Fleet Arena. It is not fun. It's so boring. Like, so I'm really hoping that's on the horizon. Just on that standpoint alone, like, give us some variety in Fleet Arena, please. And then I am excited for that new TV that's coming up. You know, that's gonna be here in 2 months now? 1 month?
Soon, TM.
Yeah, quote, air quotes. So I am looking forward to that because it sounds pretty cool from the details that they've released and then the map layout. I mean, it looks like it'll be fun. And then, of course, because that's going to introduce a bunch of more characters. So we know, or at least to an extent, the characters that are going to be coming, reworks, this and that. It's just the fleet. We don't know now what specifically they could do. I still think they could do a back-to-back cap ship because they've been waiting so long now that it's so overdue for a new capital ship. They could do Darth Malak, they could do Newt, they could do Grievous, they could do a Resistance one for all we know. I mean, they could, but lining up with the TV, I really feel like Newt might be one of the ones now because he's getting a rework. Like, it'll be funny and sad if he does, because so many other characters are deserving of a ship or cap ship over him. I feel like. But yeah,
I'm really curious.
Yeah.
I'm really curious to see what Dooku's rework's going to look like too, because I mean he's already been reworked, so what more can they add to it, right?
Well, that's with Newt. Newt's been changed a few times too, which is funny.
Oh yeah, and gotten the nerf bad dozens of times, right?
But yeah, I'm really curious too what these reworks end up being. And then, of course, the new characters that they'll introduce for the territory battles, because you're going to get those new characters in the shop and then on the nodes. So there's a lot they can do with that too. And then, yeah, I don't know. There's really nothing else big that we can expect. It's mainly this territory battles and a cap ship. Hopefully, cap ships. Go on.
Yeah, and if you look at the characters really quick, and then Adastra, I'll let you kind of pimp your stuff here. So Dooku, he's level 8 on all of his abilities right now, so his rework will probably include a new ability at this point, and Newt is missing a level 8 on his unique, so that may be something.
Oh my god, and don't get Zetas. Another Zeta for Dooku, maybe.
So that may be what we're seeing. But Miss Adastra, she is getting ready to head off here. So Jedi Master Adastra, I ain't calling you anything Sith related. You're Jedi Master. Go ahead and pimp your stuff here, and then we'll finish off the rest of the questions with the rest of the crew.
All right. Yep. Thanks as always. Been always fun to be around here. And yeah, I have to get going. I have my YouTube channel, Jedi Master Adastra. I upload primarily Jedi related content. I've uploaded some Sith raid stuff. I'm actually probably gonna upload a Galactic Republic one pretty soon on the Sith raid just to keep that theme going. And then I will have some videos of my Galactic Republic arena attempts. Emphasis on attempts because certain comps work pretty well, but it's by no means 100% win rate. But it's been fun testing out different things. And yeah, I guess that's it. Have a good weekend, everyone. And see you next week.
All right.
Thanks, Adastra.
All
Bye,
right.
Jedi Adastra.
All right. So let's go with the next question here to Mr. Xylo Takedown. And this is a question from Anthony Shaw, who is on our Facebook. And he put this question there. So when should the Darth Revan event be back?
I would say anywhere from like 6 to 8 weeks now, right? I mean, somewhere in the month and a half, 2 month range. It sounds about right. And I mean, you can't. I would also imagine Malak would be another 2 weeks after that. So it's already been, Malak's been over a month, and yeah. So I mean, I would say in the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah.
I'll open this question to you, Xylo, and then Warrior can chime in too, and then I'll give him his question. What do you think they're going to do with the Malak event, with the return and his cadence moving forward?
Well, I think like the cadence, like it'll kind of be like they'll be paired like Darth Revan and Malak, like CLS and R2 or JTR and BB-8, you know. So, and then to follow that, I'm really curious. My main question is it going to be a 3-day event, or is it going to be a 7-day event? Are they going to give people more time the second go around on the event, or is it going to be one of those unique events now that they're trying to set a new theme for, to like have a 3-day event? I mean, maybe it's just the first go around that they'll do that going forward with you know, a character like this. You know, they're trying to find new ways and themes to unlock characters, and an event like that was very difficult and challenging, and I mean, I won't forget it, I'll tell you that.
All right.
Warrior, what do you think? How do you think they'll handle Malak?
I think they'll wait, 3 months, and then they'll bring it back like they have everything else. 4 months is the longest they've ever made anybody wait for anything, with the exception of the original Yoda and the original Emperor Palpatine. Those, they said, were super rare, and they made us wait 6 months before it came back. It was, June, and then it was, or July, and then it came back in December for Emperor Palpatine. And like Yoda, it was the same thing. It was like 6, and then eventually they got enough events. They realized they couldn't wait so long, and so they started cranking that down to 4 months, and then they've recently been doing just 3 months on rotation. So they have so many events. At this point, they're just doing it a little bit faster. So I'm pretty sure we'll see them in 3 months, and there'll be a ton of people not ready, and then there'll also be a ton of people who think they're ready and then try and do the event and realize that the event sucks, so they won't be ready. And then they'll have to get it on that third attempt or whatever. So I don't think they're going to wait any special amount of time, 3 months, and they'll pop it back out.
Do you think they'll link it to Darth Revan or Jedi Knight Revan though with the next release?
That's a really good question, but I honestly don't know. I don't think so necessarily. I mean, they're all 3 different events, and with the other ones, like you have to have BB-8 for JTR, that makes sense. But with Malak, there's 2 of them that are needed, and they really want to rotate those events and not put them all at the same exact time. It's crazy. So I don't see them in this particular circumstance, because it's a unique event with 2 basically hero journeys that were required for a legendary, which is kind of weird. 2 heroes journeys for a legendary, but anyway, so weird.
You love pain just as much as the rest of us, Warrior, so don't even play. All right, next question.
All right, so Warrior, question from Paparazzi. She says, how many accuracy arrows should I save, if any?
I don't use accuracy a whole lot. I think I probably have 2 or 3 total. And I save any accuracy arrow that I roll almost every mod to see what they have, and if it has speed, I roll it just for giggles to see if it rolls speed. And so if I have an accuracy arrow with 15 speed or above, I'll keep it because it's a good secondary stat of speed with primary of accuracy. But there's not a whole lot of need for accuracy in this current meta. Not a whole lot of people using the evasion meta, so you don't really need them right now. There's a couple exceptions to the rule. I know you've got a couple you like to have on, but all in all, if you have a few, 5 or less, you're probably all right.
I think so too.
All right. Next question, Xylo from Acheron. Question: what percentage of your Grand Arena matches do people actually participate in? At least 2/3 of my matches, the person never attacks.
Well, for me, it was more when Grand Arena was first starting that I wasn't getting, opponents setting defenses or the AI setting their defenses for them. That more recently being a feature added too as well. Most of my opponents set defenses or at least put down, their zones, right? Because where I'm at now, when Grand Arena first started, I was right under 4.5 million, and now I'm just crossing 4.7 million. So I always have not only very interesting matchups, but a challenging opponent. And my opponents are very transparent too, which is the best part. Is I like the fact and the aspect of Grand Arena, bringing together more people in the community, and it creating a social environment as well as a competitive environment. And that's one of the main things I enjoy about it too, from that. So always try to interact with your opponent if you can, and don't let the one guy that doesn't reach out to you discourage you, and give each other feedback. Communicate. You learn a lot from other players and learning from somebody else's perspective in the game, and I think that's the coolest thing about this for sure.
All right. We have 2 more questions before we get into the fun questions.
All right, I'll answer them, Finn. That's fine.
You want one?
Yeah,
I'll give you a question.
I'll do one.
Okay. Question from Jamden K. It says, question: who, if ever, should I use defense set, defense primary mods on?
I'm not helping him because that's one of my shard mates, damn it. What were the 2 stats again?
Defense set and defense primary.
It's just mainly your tanks. There are exceptions. I mean, tanks are the obvious ones that you want to have defense on, but there are exceptions to where you may have a character based off how you're setting up your team. Like, for giving an instance, Traya back, and I still have my trail like this when I'm facing Jedi and Revan teams. High defense, protection, tenacity, health. I'm always looking at the defensive stat. You mainly want to look at your tanks for that because they're the ones going to be taking all the damage and stuff. There's certain characters maybe that may be really weak that you're trying to save. Defense, it's not going to be a tremendous help for some of those characters, but it'll still be good enough. So start with your tanks and then think about those characters that are really weak. Adding a little bit of defense doesn't hurt. You still want to focus on, say it's an attacker, their primary abilities, right? It's something you may consider, but it's not a primary thing you need to think about. I mean, outside of tanks and those circumstances where you think a character is going to need it, it's really, that's the only time you want to focus on that stat. So just think about that as your primary source for your defense. Like if you look at my Kenobi, my Sith Trooper, Scion, anybody like that is an autotaunter that I know is going to be taking a lot of hits and damage, then high protection, high tenacity, high health, and defense. It's like as much as I can get on there as humanly possible, I'll scrape and scrimp everything I can. So there you go.
All right. And then last question before fun questions for Warrior is from Paparazzi. Can Padme beat Darth Revan in 3v3?
Oh, I don't think so. I honestly don't think so. That's it's a durable team, and it can kind of self-cleanse, and so you can use it and kill. But I don't think Malak is. I don't think you can kill Malak with it. I mean, if somebody can show me video of that, that'd be awesome. I'd love to see how they modded it to make it happen. But I don't see that happening. So yeah. Side note: I just got a 4th Zeta on my free-to-play account, and I put it on. Drumroll, please. Bosk.
Oh.
Congrats!
Woo! Tier 9 Bosk. Everybody wants to know who I'm dating, so I did Bastila Shan first as a
That
leader.
you heard
That's just
exclusively
the
on
pimpest.
Jedi Academy. I just want to throw that out there.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. And so she's pimp, so I did that. And then, of course, I did Yoda's unique second because he's got so much viability and so many different teams, and that unique with the extra foresight and extra turn meter and stuff's really great. And then number 3 was Emperor Palpatine because he's a leader and he affects an entire team with turn meter. And then number 4 was Bosk because he's a leader and he affects an entire team. So as a free-to-play account, we've got to focus on team leads who can affect an entire team effectively. So like Chief Chirpa would be a really great one as well. Something that's going to take a D team to being a B or a C team for me is really my goal with a single Zeta.
Very nice.
All
All right, that gets us through our regular questions. Now we're on to our fun questions. So first one from John Davies, question for the panel. Did anyone watch the new Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode? I have not gotten into that show.
I hadn't even know the season was out, so I have not seen it. So I will get on
Xylo
that.
Warrior?
I mean, I was watching it the first few seasons, but I haven't been able to keep up with it. It's on Netflix too. I'd love to catch up with it, but I've got so much on my plate with shows and already
And
got enough to do with The Apprentice and.
Baby.
I don't watch it.
Nope.
Okay.
I'll check up on it.
So unfortunately, no. Paparazzi, round robin, where did all of your usernames come from? I think we've done this. So Warrior, I'll let you go first because your story makes it hard for the rest of us to even compete. So you can go first.
I should probably go last then. But so long story short,
Just the
your
short version.
Yeah, your life is full of a lot of challenges. You're going to face a lot of crazy stuff. Everyone has unique stories of challenges they faced, but your life is not defined by the challenges. Your life is defined by how you overcome those challenges, and overcoming those challenges makes you a warrior. So that's where warrior comes from, because of my life challenges I've overcome. And so all of you, listening, if you're overcoming adversity, are warriors, and you're a part of the warrior elite. So that's where it comes from.
All right. Finn, what about you?
Mine was literally me going into the name, and because of the Star Wars thing of Darth Vader and Darth Sidious, if you put like an in front of the names, it becomes really cool because you get like Darth Insidious, Darth Invader. So I was trying to go for Darth Finity, but Darth Finity wasn't there because I wanted to be Darth Infinity, and it doesn't let you put the Darth in game, so I just dropped the Darth and was Infinity.
All right.
There's nothing.
Xylo, we know how you get your name.
Yep, my first Zeta was the Kylo Ren, and my first YouTube video was Kylo Ren, going in and out of Phase 1 in the tank raid, and it's just a special place in my my roster, and I'm a big First Order fan. I like the new generation stuff, and curious to see how that's gonna go too. So yeah, First Order.
Mine's pretty simple. Ranger because I'm an ex-Army Ranger. J because that's the first initial of my name. And 1999 is the year I graduated U.S. Army Ranger School. So there you go. All right, next question.
All right, Nev, question for Warrior. Are you going to join the merry band of content creators doing the Shakespeare Star Wars play? Everyone else is joining in. So do you know about this, Warrior?
I got briefed very, very briefly on this by the gentleman who's doing it. He's the guy who follows my 5-pillar system. And he's a YouTuber, kind of a obscure YouTuber. Not a lot of people know him. And he's doing some sort of a weird, I don't know. Anyway, sounds kind of like fun, but I just highly doubt my schedule's going to allow for it. But if somebody wants to give me some more information on it, dates, times, things like that, then I'm happy to get some information on it and check it out.
There you go.
All right, that's a solid maybe there, Nev. We got a solid maybe.
It's not a no.
All right. Revenator, for Territory Wars, what do you think of 6v6 that would have 2 active leadership abilities? No, please no. Please no. God. I don't want 2 leader abilities in Territory Wars.
You'll get 2 leader abilities, Finn. You'll like it, you little bastard.
Is anyone here a fan of that idea? Let's start with that.
Be interesting.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like, I think that the way that they could go about it, like, it would be interesting, but I mean, there'd be so many different broken things, right? And not just dismiss the idea right away, because I like the idea of 6v6 as opposed to 3v3, because you're not taking away mechanics, you're adding to the mechanics. And it's not like we haven't seen like an enemy team have 6 men, 6 total players or 6 total pieces. So what they could do is the leader position, right? Like, you could just still make it a 6v6 without 2 leaders, right?
I mean, I suppose you could. It would. The 6v6 with 2 leaders would mildly break things for certain teams, right? Because if you put Asajj and Talzin as 2 leaders,
put EP and Traya together.
You can make EP Traya. You get 60 speed with the Night Sisters. I mean, you
put
can
Bastila and
everything.
Jedi Knight Revan together.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So yeah, please no.
Me bad, okay?
Danilo Papayas question: do any of you, including the people in the chat, so for those of you guys that are in the chat too, have any ally slots available that are willing to add my ult?
I think they've already been doing that.
I do have a few higher level allies and a few more to help me would help me unlock mods. If you go to our RSG Discord and you want to paste your ally code there, I'm sure will help. I usually keep like 10 of my 50 spots intentionally for people that are lower levels and whatnot, because I prefer to help them more than just like the people that already have everything and just need somebody to fill in a spot, because it doesn't help them as much. So if you want to post your ally code in the general chat or in the SWGOH chat in our Discord, I'm sure you'll have a lot of people willing to add you. So that should not be a problem.
All right.
Then Daniel Salazar, question for Ranger.
Oh.
What do you think of the guild you're going to face in TW?
I think they're going to die. The blood will flow from the non-believers. I don't know anything. Who are we facing? Let me look real quick. Sorry.
I'm assuming Daniel Salazar.
I would think that would be a good assumption. We're facing Descendants of the Empire. Well, I like the name. The name is cool. I know nothing about you other than you will be destroyed. I'm sure it'll be a great matchup. So shout out to your guild.
All right. Next question is from, I'm assuming, Jesus Weiser. And the question is, what is your favorite Star Wars movie?
Rogue One.
Warrior?
Empire.
Actually, Rogue One.
Oh, so mine is Empire. Rogue One is second, but Empire is my favorite. So we have 2 Rogue One and 2 Empires. There you go.
Congratulations. You're being rescued.
Love it.
All right, and then last
So bad.
question from Paparazzi helps us transition to the end here. Should I like and subscribe? Yes.
Please.
Make sure you guys like and subscribe the video, the channel. Make sure you subscribe to all of the guys' channels. We have the links in the description, so you guys can go there and subscribe to all of them. And that was our last question.
Which leads perfectly into the pimp. All right, Warrior, tell the good folks out there in TV land, where can they find Warrior? Where can they get some more of that good, wholesome goodness of Warrior?
2 channels, Warrior Presents and Warriors Roster Reviews. I've got 2 roster reviews uploaded. If you know how to find them, you can find them. If not, they'll go public this next week. One of them will go public actually this morning in a few minutes. And on my main account, I do a weekly stream for Scissorman. And hopefully, when things get a little bit less chaotic, I'll be going back to doing normal ships and raids and fun stuff on the regular account. But yeah, so the Scissorman account's really fun. I've got a guest that normally shows up half the time or so, named SureShot, and he's a pretty funny character. So if you enjoy that banter between a couple of individuals, the live streams are actually quite a bit of fun.
There you go. All right, Stoner Jedi, where can folks find my apprentice? No one cares about you. Just in videos of the apprentice choking you or force throwing things at you. Where can they go?
Yeah, you can check me and the apprentice out, Takedown Games and Zylo Takedown, and I've been streaming my Grand Arenas and a couple other counter videos, some Territory War, Grand Arena clips and stuff like that too. If you ever have any questions, there's a Discord too. You come join the Discord. It's on the About page on my YouTube channel, and please do like and subscribe. We're right around the corner from 600 subs, so I'd really appreciate all your support, and Yeah, man, it's been really fun, and big shout out again to Silverbolt and DB Official 125 for the artwork and everything for my channel and everything. So I really appreciate it for you guys, and I really appreciate you guys always having me on too. Ranger, you know, you're my boy MC Strong, and
No, I hate you.
Warrior, always appreciate Warrior support. Finn,
He
always
doesn't like
appreciate
you
guys'
either.
support.
No, we're joking. We do as much as we can. And Finn, what about our channel? Anything going on? Tell a little bit, folks, about RSG. Since you're wearing all that lovely, good, wholesome RSG merchandise there.
So this is the Reality Skewed Gamers channel. Thank you guys for watching. This is our Jedi Academy stream. We've been doing this with this great group of people. Now 108 episodes. So this is our 2-hour question and answer stream that we do Saturdays at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So thank you all for joining us for today. The RSG crew does a SWGOH live stream on Wednesday nights at 8 p.m. where we go through the news and notes from the past week and give you our thoughts and opinions on everything that's been going on. And that's at 8 p.m. Wednesday nights. That one we're at like 150 something at this point. Losing count. Doing it for almost 3 years now. So we've done that weekly, so make sure that you guys join us for that. Hit the subscribe, hit the bell. We do a lot of different live streams as well. We do the lunch hour at 12 p.m. Eastern time where we do a roster review. We answer some questions. We play stuff in the game, so you guys can check us out. And we are now doing stuff on Twitch that is exclusively on Twitch, like Rangers
and
Grand Arenas.
Facebook now.
Yep. So we are now on Facebook as well, but on Twitch, we have exclusive content that we are doing there. So Grand Arenas are on Twitch for you guys. So if you guys want to watch defense setting on Grand Arena, offense setting, all of that, make sure you guys also check us out on Twitch. It's twitch.tv/realityskewedgamers.
There you go. And then we do other fun stuff. We do Battlefront on Twitch. We'll do D&D there. So there's some other fun stuff we're doing. I know Finn's getting ready to bring back PC Gaming Night. God help us. Finn's been doing some... I don't know what you call those streams, Finn. You just eat a lot of sugar and stream. It's ridiculous, but people...
We're going to do some Galactic War, I think, more regularly. Because I think Galactic War with 12 nodes really tells a story that we can make canon in Star Wars.
Yeah, it's torture, and I have to sit through it, and there's nothing I can do, because if he gets his ass streaming and I don't know about it, then I'm basically hosed. But I'm trying to find ways to end that, but it's not working out right now. But so for today, we will be back tonight. We got the mini Ross reviews. We'll do that for a little bit, and then we're gonna hang out and play Pictionary at 10 o'clock p.m. as well. So I don't have a time yet for the mini Ross reviews. Probably 6, 7, right around there. I've got to go to this birthday lunch, and then I'll be back. I'll probably be in a coma afterwards, and then I'll get out of the coma, and then we'll do that. But do me a favor, guys. Like, subscribe, follow us on Twitch, all that stuff, but not just us. Check out Zyla's channel. Check out Warrior stuff. Go to Lydia Dastra. All the people that weren't here today. Operation Metaverse. The Alliance with Riemann. I mean, I can go down the list of people that we support everywhere. Urza's Mentally Damaged. So if you really want to laugh and have a good time, go watch the Urza and the Outer Rim in the Hall. We got Darth Microtransactions, Just Ian. There's a lot of great channels out there, and you know, for them to keep putting out content, they got to get subscribers and views and likes and all that stuff. So you want to keep the community and these guys going and us, that's what you need to do. So all right, so on behalf of myself and the crew, thank you guys for stopping in. Thank to all our guests. Have a great rest of your day, and we will see you guys tonight for some mini Ross review fun, and we'll do some Pictionary as well. So I'll let you later. Peace.